In this demonstration, I'm going to take you through some of the new enhancements to implicit modeling in the June 2021 release of NX. Now, NX implicit modeling was introduced in December 2020 as a new optional module for the creation of equation-driven structures and the performing of robust modeling operations on the most complex of designs. It consisted of a dedicated task environment for the creation and editing of implicit geometry, with out-of-the-box, triply periodic, minimal surface structures such as gyroids. In addition to this, there was the ability to import and operate on existing CAD geometry, perform shell and Boolean operations, and finally output convergent geometry for downstream use. So let's take a look at the improvements to implicit modeling in this latest release of NX. Currently on the screen, you see the design for an athletic shoe. And I'm going to add a gyroid structure to the sole to help with energy absorption. So I'm going to start by looking at the sole in isolation, and then section it to look at the internal structure. And as you can see, it's a solid body. The next step in the process is to activate implicit modeling. And as you can see, it takes me into a dedicated environment. This environment includes all the tools I need to add my energy absorbing structure to the sole of the shoe. So the first task is to add the void, which I will later fill with the gyroid structure. To generate the void, I'm going to use the implicit shell command, and this is where you'll see the first of the new enhancements to implicit modeling in this latest release of NX. You'll notice how I was able to directly select the high quality styling information without the need to convert it, as was previously the case. I'm just going to hide the original styling geometry so we can preview the shell before I complete the command. And there we have our void has been generated in the sole of our shoe. In the Part Navigator, you'll notice an implicit model feature has been added, which is a convergent body, and we'll be using this to generate the gyroid structure. The gyroid is just one of a number of triply periodic minimal surface structures that are included within NX implicit modeling. So I select the gyroid command, which takes me into its dialog, and this is where you'll see the second of our new enhancements within NX implicit modeling. There are three boundary conditions that I can choose depending on the result I want. Either a solid volume, a void volume, or a void volume and unite. This final option also gives me a blend factor, which enables me to control the smoothness of the transition between the structure and the bulk body. I'm also going to modify the thickness of the gyroid structure. I'll now pick the body and preview the structure itself. And now I'm going to show the result. It takes a little bit of time to generate the complex geometry, but there we have the final result. Our void has been filled with the gyroid structure, but not only that, it's been united and blended at the transition between the structure and the bulk body at the same time. Without the power of NX implicit modeling, it would be impossible to generate this sort of geometry using traditional modeling techniques. Here we'll just take a look at the structure from a different orientation, and we'll section it longitudinally. Again, you can see the complexity of what we've been able to generate in a short space of time. The other key benefit to remember is that the implicit model is an associative feature. So if my styling geometry changes, then any downstream features, including the implicit model, will update to the new form. Finally, let's take a look at the original assembly. I'm going to make the sole translucent so we can see the gyroid structure that we created in the context of the overall athletic shoe assembly. So just to recap, we've taken a look at the enhancements to implicit modeling in the June 2021 release of NX, when the number of steps taken to incorporate complex geometry such as gyroid structures has been greatly reduced, streamlining the overall process and improving productivity.